Can Speer's 230 grain Gold Dot 45 ACP load pass our extreme gel test? Today we're going to find out. Hello everyone, welcome back to LocaCarnivore. We're really glad you could join us today. We've got a treat for you today. We're going to test Speer's famous Gold Dot 45 ACP load, the flying ashtray, against our Frost Giant Extreme Gel Test. Now before we get rolling on this, I just want to clarify something. First and foremost, I'm a big fan of the 45 ACP. I always have been. I've always thought it was a great load, great cartridge. However, I think some of that reputation is gilded around the edges a little bit. There's a lot of legend behind this cartridge as well. And there's some outright disinformation about it. And so we kind of have to weigh that mythology against the reality. And that's why we're testing it today. And you fanboys out there, and there's a ton of 45 fanboys, trust me, I've done videos about this and it's just inundated with the comments and everything. And you'll probably want to beat on me about this one way or the other. No matter what I say, you'll never be satisfied. However, you need to think about it. There's a lot of fanboys out there in the 45 world. They engage in magical thinking. They think that this thing is some sort of mythological thunderbolt from on high or something that just vanquishes anything that you even wave it at. Get ready for the reality train to run right over your sacred cow here. But we're going to give it the best shot we can. We're going to give it the best chance we possibly can. But at the end of the day, and the end of the video, you're going to see how well it actually did or didn't do. Now, if you've been following the channel, you'll be aware of how our Frost Giant gel test is set up. And it is designed to test how a bullet works against heavy winter clothing in a cross-torso shot. And we have a video for you, all the geeky details, so if you want to dive into that deep, we've got the link down in the description there. You can go look at the video. Let's give you a close-up look at the 230 grain Speer Gold Dot 45 ACP load. And we'll just unnecessary zoom in here. Alright, take a look at that thing. And you can see the really large nose cavity. Hopefully this is going to focus for you. There you go. That's why it has the nickname the flying ashtray. That thing is just massive. Massive, massive nose cavity there at hollow point. This is, forgive the pun, the gold standard for defensive loads, has been since it was introduced, and it's pretty much the load that everyone else, pretty much the load that every other load is judged by, measured by, is this Gold Dot. Here at the LocaCarnivore project, at the moment, we don't get any support really from anybody. The stuff we do, it costs money. These gel blocks that we're shooting into, they are expensive. And of course, as you know, ammo is expensive. But we don't have any sponsors right now. We don't do the affiliate thing. And we're not going to get on somebody's paid bandwagon, even though there's a lot of money out there. You look at James Reeves at TFB TV. He put a video out recently. He just bought a Porsche 911 Turbo. The dude's making bank. We're not anywhere near that. So the only real means of support we have right now is you, our viewers. And if you wouldn't mind going to our Patreon, the link's down in the description there. Show us a little love. Give us some budget. The more budget we get, like the next thing on the list is I'm going to get a GoPro camera if I can get the money. And that way I can start taking you folks out into the field when I go hunting and doing all these other cool stuff. And it's not going to be all just studio stuff. So, but it costs money. So give us a hand. Thank you. Now the gun that we used for this particular test is a Springfield Armory mil-spec 1911 with a 5-inch barrel. Just standard government model. And if you'd like a little more information about the mil-spec from Springfield Armory, we did 2 different reviews on it. Links are down in the description. Go ahead, check those out. Hey, make sure you share this video with everybody. Let's put some legs on this bad boy and make it go viral. Like a couple of ours finally went viral. Thank you for sharing. Thank you. The question still remains, how will the 230 grain 45 ACP Gold Dot do against our Frost Giant? So let's throw it down to our people in the field, down on the range. We're going to find out right now. 230 grain Speer Gold Dot hollow point 45 ACP. Temperature 65, block temperature 68, range 10 feet. There we go. There it is, right there. Caught a bunch of material, ended up right in the block. Slapped the snot out of it though. Yeah, but that's it for penetration. If you want some more great content, we got plenty for you over at the LocaCarnivore.com, our website. Links in the description, of course. And we have a store now, and there's a tab on there when you get to our website that you can click on, and you can get groovy stuff like this t-shirt. What do you think? Ball cap's coming. They still haven't shipped it yet, but at any rate, you can get some really great LocaCarnivore merchandise. All right, we're back in the award-winning LocaCarnivore laboratories, located in the sprawling LocaCarnivore headquarters complex. And we brought the gel blocks inside so that we can show you this a little better. Try to get some light on this pretty good. All right, what we have here is all of the 45 ACP rounds that we just tested. And then the highly touted Gold Dot. You can see the plugs down in there. Maybe. You can see all the cloth plugs down in there and how much. That's only a couple inches of penetration at best. They really did very poorly. I want to give you an idea just how much fabric those 45 ACP bullets pull through. This is cloth recovered from the second gel block. This is the in-between cloth packs, the second cloth packs. And it just, these 45 slugs just drag huge amounts of fabric into the second gel block. So they really slow down and they really get held back because they grab all this fabric because they're super wide in diameter when they expand in the first block. And then they've got those sharp petals from the expansion that also grab this stuff just like little meat hooks or something and pull it right into the other gel pack. So it's, just wanted to show you that so you could see what that looks like. Here's that 230 grain Gold Dot that we pulled out of the gel block. Classic Gold Dot flying ashtray 45 ACP expansion. But that expansion didn't do it any good as far as getting through that second cloth pack. As you saw, it only went in, what, inch, 2 inches maybe, give or take. But it performed like it's supposed to as far as expansion, but it didn't do a very good job on penetration. Holy, are you kidding me? Did you see what happened with that Gold Dot in the gel? I was stunned. I was absolutely shocked. I had expected this load to do so well. It has such a fantastic reputation out there as a defensive round. It meets all the, or exceeds all the FBI protocols for barrier penetration and all that. And in its defense, though, I have to say it did expand properly after it hit that first clothing pack. So it didn't get plugged up or anything, which is definitely in its favor. So that's a good thing. But afterwards, oh boy, the train came off the tracks, didn't it? Total penetration, start to finish, 8.5 inches. That includes the outside cloth pack, it includes the arm block, and then the inside cloth packs, and you saw what happened. And torso penetration, where we need to get to the vitals to actually stop this situation as quickly as possible, complete, absolute failure. 1.5 inches of penetration, 1.5. That's maybe just into the rib cage, if that, not even close to what we need on this. I mean, this performance from this Gold Dot was so abysmal. I mean, we've had 380s that have done far better than this. 380s that were better than this. What's up with that? Speer, you got some questions to answer, in my opinion. Now, we did get a temporary cavity out of this thing. It did transfer some energy. It expanded, like I said, after it hit that initial cloth pack on the outside of the arm block. And that temporary cavity was about 4 inches long and 1/2 inch wide, give or take, maybe 1/8 of an inch either way. And so that was pretty good, but given how dramatically that these 45 ACP loads, especially the Gold Dot, expands, I mean, it expands to, you know, it's pushing 3/4 of an inch expansion, and it still leaves only that small of a cavity. I mean, we've tested 9mm that have better temporary cavities than this particular Gold Dot load. And yes, there was a temporary cavity in the torso block, but it was caused basically by that slug yanking all that cloth and clothing material and pulling it into the torso cavity. So yeah, it had a 1.5 inch roughly long temporary cavity by well over almost 1.5 inches wide, but that was because of that huge amount of cloth. And so that expansion on this bullet, and we've seen this with other 45s, the expansion is not your friend here when it comes to the 45 ACP slugs, and obviously not when it comes to the Gold Dot. First of all, you got a just sort of mediocre to average temporary cavity, and then secondly, that big frontal area, once that already large slug opens up, it has a huge frontal area, and that's just like a drogue chute coming out on a jet fighter, an old 60s jet fighter. When it lands or something, has to deploy that chute, or a dragster, top fuel dragster, when it pops its chute, same effect. It just increases the frontal area of that slug exponentially, and the drag curve just goes off the chart essentially, and that's what stops it, that's what slows it down. And since 45 ACP is not packing a ton of energy to begin with, you know, we're talking about at best in the 400, low 400 foot-pound range for something like this, it just doesn't have the energy once it starts slowing down so dramatically from its wide frontal area, and it just, as you saw, it comes to a grinding halt. And that's how we're going to rate this bullet as far as passing the LocaCarnivore winter carry test. It's a complete failure. You cannot depend on this thing. If you had to do that cross-torso shot against a large-statured individual wearing proper heavy winter clothing, you couldn't count on this thing to do the job at all. Does this mean that the famous Gold Dot 45 ACP Flying Ashtray is a bad load? Not necessarily. You just need to understand its envelope. In the other 3 seasons out of the year, you know, fall, summer, spring, summer, fall, it would be a good load. Just don't expect a tremendous amount of penetration out of this thing, which could be valuable if you are carrying this load in a very crowded urban setting and you've got always a lot of other people around, a lot of bystanders and whatnot, and you really need to limit that over-penetration potential. This would be a good load for that. This would be a great load for like hostage rescue teams, things like that. So it's not a bad load, it's just not a good winter carry load. There are probably better things out there for you. So unfortunately, sorry Speer, sorry Gold Dot, but you just didn't make the cut on this. Now there is one 45 ACP load that we tested that did pretty well for itself, and we're going to have a link to it right up here in just a couple of seconds, and you can go check that out. Hey, thank you for taking your valuable time to watch us here at the LocaCarnivore. Can't tell you enough how much we appreciate you spending your time with us. We're going to leave you with 2 thoughts. The first being, the ultimate act of resistance is insisting upon facts. And the second one, George Lucas, even you know Han shot first. Get over it.